Wednesday, the 29th of July. We're about 3 hours ahead of New York Open, and obviously today is FOMC. So, the long hypo from yesterday played out. We swept into the 3-week val and traded up to the point of control, and then just spent most of the rest of the day chopping. In terms of the sort of bigger picture, the chart's looking okay. Obviously, we're back above the point of control of the range. The 30 days curling up. We're starting to see a bit of compression now between 30 and 90. So it kind of looks like it wants to trade up, but we obviously have returned into value here, and given that return pullback against our value highs, so we could just as easily trade back to value lows, quite honestly. So super unclear situation for me at the moment. Obviously FOMC as well is a big unknown. I think it's one of the most uncertain we've seen for some time. I think the market's pricing in obviously no change, but there's definitely a non-zero chance of a hike. So we need to see, right? Is it likely that we hike before midterms? Probably not, but it's definitely a non-zero chance. So we just have to wait and see. I think in any case, right, trying to play longs into this big area of resistance isn't probably unwise. We'll talk about where we are now in a moment, but yeah, trying to play longs into 66k, which is obviously, we failed around this area 2 or 3 times. It's probably not the best idea. So in terms of like trading to the upside, we could still look for a short around the 90-day and this old 8-month point of control. But should we say trade into here, there's still going to be potentially a long opportunity from this area if that doesn't turn out to be the top, if we're going to trade up to say the 71s. So I would prefer to wait for us to find acceptance above at least previous month value high and this old composite low before really entertaining a swing long anyway. So I'm not too bothered about missing out on a bit of upside here if that's how it materializes. In terms of where we've traded into today, so we've traded into the 7-day rolling VWAP, more or less previous week's value low, obviously filling out this imbalance. And there's a big offer here. Well, there was. So we filled out a big offer. So we have seen some absorption. We haven't seen much responsive selling yet. And again, for that reason, it's not really a great place to be looking to get long. I don't really love this area for a short either, personally. It's just not particularly significant contextually. And I think there are better shorts anyway elsewhere in the market. For example, Zcash. Still in INJ, I think that's potentially giving a bearish retest at the moment. And maybe even ETH. So still holding ETH. Well, I think we'll leave it there for BTC because we just need to see how FOMC resolves, right? I should say I'm going to be away from tomorrow for the weekend. So tomorrow, I probably won't trade tomorrow at all unless something really clear sets up in the morning. But I'm going to be away tomorrow afternoon until Sunday, until Monday. Probably won't be back at desk till Tuesday to be realistic about it. Above here is bullish. I would say where we are now, kind of neutral. We just need to wait and see what happens after FOMC. Still valid to be holding shorts from here, but who knows? Okay, so that's BTC. ETH. So for me, quite ambiguous here. Again, potentially some bullish signs in terms of VWAP compression and holding above the 90-day, but we need to really accept above here, right? If we can accept above 1950, then potentially as high as that. So again, so far bearish, but could easily change if we trade a bit higher. So don't really necessarily want to bet on upside into resistance. I'd rather see us accept above 1940, and then longs become much higher probability. As it is, it doesn't look bad though. We've swept into this imbalance. I'm still holding some of my short from here, but I'm not sort of too optimistic. And if we get back above the 3.5-day val here, I'm just going to close out the rest. Stops are just in profit. So we'll see. Obviously, FOMC could just nuke the market again. So I'm not sort of wedded to upside here at all. And this is still technically bearish, given that we failed to hold it within this composite. We traded below this one, and we're now back testing it as resistance. We could even trade into here and still be bearish. So as I say, for longs, we just need to accept above 1945, back into that old 2-month comp, back above the developing week's value high as well. Looks like just chop for now, and obviously resistance here. So holding some shorts, but not convinced that it's going to break down essentially. INJ got a bit of a squeeze this morning, first one for a while. If we can accept within this, obviously we're going to go higher, but the trend is to the downside now, and this we have put in a bit of a displacement here to the underside, so I'm assuming this is a bearish retest until proven otherwise. So, my short entry is around 523 on the 7-day there. If we accept here, I'll just close out the rest. I don't mind round tripping that a little bit. But still, targeting lower, essentially. I think lower low makes more sense to me, but we'll see how it develops. We could trade back up into this range high, for example. Possibly. Sol, I'm just waiting. I think, again, compressing, trading down. I don't know, it looks more bearish than bullish. Want to see it accept within this 4-week comp, though, to take the short. And then, we could trade it down to at least PM Val and probably the 4-week Val, if not lower. So just waiting, obviously, sort of chopping around previous month value high at the moment. Need exceptions to become clear below 72.50 to take the short personally. So it's a good short here early in the week, but finding support here for the time being. So wait and see how it resolves. Zcash still looks bad, potentially coming into an area of support now. I was looking for that earlier in the week. We didn't get it. So I still think these areas potentially going to offer some support, but overall, why can't we accept under 430 and go all the way down to 320? So sort of higher time frame still looks quite bad to me. But maybe we bounce here and get some chop before it goes lower. We do have quite a big 12-hour imbalance here and supply form. So if we get a bounce and then trade up to 480, for example, that might be a good area to look to fade later. But we'll see how it goes. I think that's about all I want to talk about. Our lit. So it's a good long yesterday and a good short as well, traded into this sort of value high and actually listing value. We're still finding this relevant listing value high. So traded back into listing value, return pull back into the listing values high. Good short here. I think we talked about the 4-hour candle, didn't we? Which is probably this one actually. So we actually swept that high. I'm not in it, but again, failing to hold above the 30-day here and finding resistance there, likely to trade lower. Imbalance here around $2, and then if it does really break down, we can come into these areas, but we'll see on that one. So that's about it. Pepe was looking good yesterday, but it's obviously failed to hold at that point of control, and doesn't look so good now. And Pump obviously just breaking down off those divs, so not looking so good either. Couldn't break out there, back below this comp as well. I'd potentially be interested in bidding around these value lows again, but we'll see. So, yeah, I just don't have a strong opinion right here at the moment. We need to see how FMC resolves. And even if we do resolve up, it could be very quickly curtailed if we just reject off the 90-day and that's it. Overall, it doesn't really feel like the top, does it? Because, we traded up and we just haven't seen, really much downside momentum. But I think FOMC is such a unknown that really it's difficult to make anything. Well, there's just no clarity. I just don't have clarity right now, and it will come back, right? But it's not there at the moment. So that's it. I'm going to leave it there for today, and wish you a good one, and I'll speak to you next.